What is the FAA Safety Assurance System, also known as SAS? The Safety Assurance System, or SAS, is the FAA's oversight tool to perform certification, surveillance, and continued operational safety, or COS. SAS supports effective risk-based decision-making at all levels of the FAA. Oversight is a function performed by the FAA to assure the highest level of safety in the National Airspace System, or NAS, by verifying that an aviation organization or designee complies with and uses safety-related standards, regulations, and associated procedures. SAS includes policy, processes, and associated software that the FAA uses to capture data when conducting oversight. SAS was developed to satisfy the safety assurance component of the FAA Aviation Safety's Internal Safety Management System, or SMS. SAS is being utilized by Flight Standards, the Office of Hazardous Materials Safety, and the Air Traffic Safety Oversight Service. SAS is not a separate safety standard. What does SAS do? SAS improves consistency and collaboration between the FAA and industry. SAS standardizes oversight nationally. SAS allows the FAA to track all work in one place, visible at the office, divisional, and national levels. SAS helps FAA aviation safety inspectors, or ASIs, determine risk-based, data-supported oversight decisions, and it supports hazard identification and risk assessment strategies. These are used to create surveillance plans and to determine where the FAA should focus its resources. SAS provides the standardized processes and tools used to evaluate whether a certificate holder's operations are in compliance with regulations. SAS is based on the statutory authority of Title 49 of the United States Code, 49 U.S.C., the regulatory authority of Title 14 of the Code of Federal Regulations, 14 CFR, and system safety. The sections of Title 49 that provide statutory authority to SAS are Sections 44701, 44702, 44705, and 44707. These sections deal with the following: 44701, promoting safety by adhering to the FAA prescribed minimum standards. 44702, issuance of certificates at the highest level of safety for 14 CFR Parts 121 and 135. 44705, air carrier operating certificates for 14 CFR Part 121 and 135 operations. And 44707, FAA examining and rating air agencies, including flight schools and repair stations. The regulatory authority for SAS is based on Title 14 of the Code of Federal Regulations, referred to as 14 CFR. SAS was implemented to standardize the oversight of air operators in 14 CFR Parts 121 and 135, and air agencies in Part 145. Other 14 CFR parts have been integrated, and additional parts will continue to be integrated into future versions of SAS. What is system safety and the safety attributes? SAS was developed to support system safety-based oversight. System safety is the foundation of the FAA's oversight mission. System safety is the term we use to describe the act of managing aviation safety risk. The FAA uses the system safety attributes as a method to assess and document the certificate holders' or applicants' ability to manage their safety risk. The system safety attributes identify key characteristics inherent in all systems that are being assessed. There are 7 system safety attributes: responsibility, authority, safety ownership, controls, procedures, interfaces, and process measurement. Responsibility: a clearly identified individual who is accountable for ensuring financial and human resources to ensure the safety and quality performance of the certificate holder. Authority: a clearly identifiable, qualified, and knowledgeable individual who effectively plans, directs, and controls resources, changes procedures, and makes key determinations, including safety risk acceptance decisions. Safety ownership. An individual's understanding of how their role contributes to the overall safety of the organization. Controls. The checks and restraints that exist within a process that ensure the potential effects of risk are reduced to an acceptable level. Procedures. Methods or practices that are written or unwritten, regulatory or non-regulatory, designed into a process that a certificate holder or applicant uses to accomplish a desired result. Note that unwritten methods refer to certificate holders or applicants that are not required by regulation to have documented procedures. Interfaces. The interactions between processes that must be managed in order to ensure desired outcomes. Process measurement. A method to monitor and measure the outputs and performance of a process, and to identify problems or potential problems in order to take corrective action. What are the SAS Focus Areas? SAS supports 3 focus areas: initial certification, continued operational safety, and assurance support. Initial certification is the process where the FAA certifies and authorizes applicants to conduct business in a manner which complies with all applicable regulations, FAA policies, and FAA guidance. Continued operational safety, known as COS, includes surveillance and certificate management. COS ensures certificate holders' compliance with Title 49 of the U.S. Code and Title 14 of the Code of Federal Regulations, and ability to operate safely. COS verifies proposed changes to a certificate holder's operating practices, and COS ensures the certificate holder or applicant identifies and resolves any safety concerns through the application of risk management principles. Assurance support refers to the FAA's oversight planning, resource management, and SAS management, including work to be performed, resources required to perform oversight, and gathering and analysis of safety data through National Safety Analysis known as NSA. What is the SAS Oversight Model? The SAS Oversight Model describes how all 5 modules of SAS interact with one another. External users, such as active certificate holders and applicants, interact with SAS through the SAS External Portal in Module 1 and Module 4, as indicated by the green shadows under these modules. The SAS External Portal and how to access and interact with it will be described in detail later in this video. In the Configuration module, certificate holders access configuration information to view and initiate requests for new or changed scope of operations. For applicants, this is where they access configuration information to enter initial data for their proposed scope of operations. This configuration information is used to finalize the certificate holder operating profile. In the Planning module, the FAA Principal Inspector, or PI, or the Training Center Program Manager, referred to as the TCPM, identifies certificate holder risk and follow-up actions using the Certificate Holder Assessment Tool, referred to as the CHAT. The PI reviews, adjusts, and validates the Comprehensive Assessment Plan known as a CAP, which is a risk-based, data-supported surveillance plan. In the Resource Management module, FAA Office Management assign resources. In the Data Collection module, the PI's Scheduled Surveillance or Oversight Plan CAP consists of assessments scoped by the certificate holder's operating profile. Data is collected for these assessments through the use of data collection tools, or DCTs. DCTs are based on federal aviation regulations, authorizing documents, FAA Policy and Guidance, FAA Order 8900.1, advisory circulars, and the safety attributes. Once the data collection process is completed, the DCT data is available to the PIs, TCPMs, or the Certification Project Manager, referred to as the CPM, for Analysis, Assessment, and Action, known as AAA. The PI or CPM reviews the data collected and assesses the associated risk, then determines any follow-up action to be taken. As we've mentioned, the SAS External Portal is an important tool available to certificate holders and applicants. The SAS External Portal is included in the SAS Oversight Model. The green shadows behind Module 1, Configuration, and Module 4, Data Collection, indicate that certificate holders and applicants can access those modules through the SAS External Portal. Here are some details about DCTs under the Data Collection module. DCTs are used to collect data needed for the evaluation of the performance or design of the certificate holder or applicant. Design DCTs are used during certification, surveillance, and certificate management to document processes and procedures. Performance DCTs are used by aviation safety inspectors when conducting inspections or observations of a certificate holder or applicant. For initial certification, design DCTs are used to validate initial certification programs. Also, certificate holders may be asked to complete design DCTs during the approval process of a configuration change request. We will discuss 4 types of data collection tools: Element Design DCTs or EDDCTs, System or Subsystem Performance DCTs, SPDCTs, Element Performance DCTs or EPDCTs, and Custom DCTs, CDCTs. Data collection tools are customized based on configuration data, which consists of operations specifications called OPSS, vitals data, and contractor data of the certificate holder or applicant. This customization is known as scoping. Scoping of DCTs results in design or performance DCTs for each certificate holder or applicant based on their operating profile, which includes configuration data, training specifications, and OPSS authorizing documents. Element Design DCTs, or EDDCTs, are conducted by FAA personnel to review and validate the certificate holders or applicants' design of systems for processes and procedures, either written or unwritten. EDDCTs may be completed and submitted by certificate holders or applicants. System or Subsystem Performance DCTs, called SPDCTs, are questions at a high overview level conducted by FAA personnel. They involve the observation of the certificate holders or applicants' performance of their processes or procedures. SPDCTs are scheduled on a recurring basis. Element Performance DCTs, referred to as EPDCTs, are conducted by FAA personnel. EPDCTs are an observation of performance and are used to validate the certificate holders or applicants' performance of processes or procedures. EPDCTs measure at the highest level of detail. Custom DCTs, referred to as CDCTs, are conducted by FAA personnel and are created for focused inspections. CDCTs may be completed and submitted by the certificate holder or applicant. Certificate holders can view scoped DCTs in their operating profile through the SAS External Portal, which will be explained in the next section. The FAA Principal Inspector can send Element Design DCTs or Custom DCTs through the SAS External Portal for completion by the certificate holder. Applicants can generate and complete Element Design DCTs based on their proposed operating profile and can submit them to the FAA Certification Project Manager, referred to as the CPM. The CPM can generate and send custom DCTs to an applicant. Note that applicants can submit element design or custom DCTs only after a CPM is assigned to their certification project. So, what is the SAS External Portal? It is an important component of the FAA Safety Assurance System. It is a free, secure, web-based application that allows for more direct, streamlined, and timely communication between certificate holders or applicants and the FAA. The SAS External Portal makes the certification process more efficient and timely by allowing applicants to submit pre-application information, provide details on the size, type, and scope of operations they want to perform, generate, complete, and submit scoped element design DCTs, complete and submit custom DCTs assigned by the CPM, submit documentation electronically, exchange information with the FAA through the SAS External Portal messaging system, and coordinate schedules of events with FAA personnel. For certificate holders, the SAS External Portal allows them to submit configuration change requests, view, complete, and submit PI-generated scoped element design and custom DCTs, submit documentation electronically, and exchange information with the FAA through the SAS External Portal messaging system. The SAS External Portal Information Guide provides online resources, including step-by-step guides, quick reference cards or cue cards, and other helpful resource material. To access the SAS External Portal Information Guide, select the link on sas.faa.gov. Please consider bookmarking this site for future reference. Let's take a look at the step-by-step guides. The step-by-step guides provide in-depth walkthroughs of the processes. Please be sure to follow the process steps when signing up for and using the SAS External Portal. And please note that every time a user opens the SAS External Portal, they must agree to the System Use Notice before they can proceed. It's important to read and understand this notice because improper use can result in disciplinary action and possible civil or criminal penalties. This concludes the What is SAS presentation. This presentation has been developed to help provide you with a better understanding of the safety assurance system. Thank you for your time.